Brooklyn Independent Television.
I am Thomas Leeser. I'm an architect, originally from Frankfurt, Germany. I studied architecture in Germany. My parents were architects. I came to New York through studying here at Cooper Union. Started my own office in 1989. We're here in my office, Leeser Architecture, in Dumbo, Brooklyn. Architecture is a cultural production, and as such we have a responsibility not just to the client but also to the city, to the environment, to the general public. So it's not just an architect expressing him or herself or not just an architect fulfilling economic or technical requirements. It is first and foremost a contribution to our culture. This ramp, how we're dealing with this on the inner edge now. We're not architects with a particular style, we're architects with a particular kind of message and content. What ties our projects together is that they all aim to reread a kind of status quo. The Helix Hotel, for example, has a lot of aspects of reinvent the hotel type, which is typically corridors stacked on top of each other. We wanted to bring this idea of a hotel more into a relationship to an urban condition. That to occupy a hotel room is like occupying a house in a city along a street. The idea was developed that the hotel should actually be a kind of continuous loop, a helix, where you basically walk along the corridors like as if you're in a street. In the I-Beam project, I-Beam Atelier for New Media Art, it was important to understand that media art does not require walls like a convention museum where you hang a painting, but projections can be on walls and floors, and this idea of seamlessness and continuity of space. So we developed the floor, the wall, and the ceiling being a continuous surface, and therefore you have these kind of soft edges in this museum. We were sort of asked to participate in the competition for the Museum of the Moving Image, which we subsequently won, which was a very interesting project as we, together with the client, laid out a kind of vision for the future of the museum, moving from film to digital media. We have a video amphitheater that as you walk from the ground floor up into the second floor, you actually coming off the stair as if you're stepping out of the screen into the audience space. The integration of media technology into the actual architecture, as well as the kind of conceptual understanding of the relationship of film and architecture is key to the project. Museum of the Moving Image is sort of a very interesting sort of phenomenon, example. I've talked to a lot of people in Astoria who said it changed their life. To suddenly have this kind of institution as a public building of this quality in their neighborhood is something they had never sort of thought possible. And at the same time, people who never would, leave Manhattan happen to end up in this museum, like shocked to realize that there is a world outside of Manhattan. Our work is international. We have an international reputation. We work as far away as Bangkok, we work in Moscow, we work in Abu Dhabi. It's very exciting to work with these sort of extremely different locations. The context for each project is so different that it also, the starting point is quite different every time. Sometimes it's very clear one has an idea that seems to be the right idea, and other times it's sort of a lot of analysis and kind of experimentation that's required to get to the right solution. We probably need to eliminate these angled pieces as well. Recently we were asked to participate in a competition for the Polytechnic Museum in Moscow, which is an amazing museum. Part of the competition was to enclose two courtyards, which we proposed to enclose with a space actually, rather than just a roof. We're proposing glass galleries that you kind of as if you float over the museum. Most of our work are cultural institutions, performing arts centers, museums. We also do residential projects. We are here in Brooklyn involved in two projects. One is the Pier 1 Hotel. The key thing here is that this has an interior park. It's basically an idea where the park is taken to the inside and therefore is accessible year-round. One of the really exciting projects we're doing here in Brooklyn is the Strand Theatre, which houses two institutions, BRIC Media House and Urban Glass. BRIC involves a theatre, gallery, television studio, which is a very exciting program, and Urban Glass is a glass-blowing facility, which is in stark contrast to the theatre program. But both have public missions. An essential part was to make both those institutions open to the public, to make the building, which is a very closed, existing old building, to open it up as much as possible. Our work can influence and change the world around you. There's a real impact. It's not just like another building. People actually develop a real attachment and a real relationship to architecture.
Download this program's podcast on iTunes. Keywords Brooklyn Independent Television.